Welcome back to Views with Hughes, Jennifer News. This is Jerome Hughes, and if you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification so that way you will be notified of future uploads and updates. So, former Marvel chairman Ike Pearlmutter speaks out stating that he was fired. He wasn't laid off, okay? And I'm going to go into detail as to why he said that he was fired instead of being laid off. So, this is coming from Daily Mail through way of Wall Street Journal, where it says here in a new interview with Wall Street Journal, Perlmutter, who's 80, said his desire to save the company money, along with his widely known sour relationships with Disney CEO Bob Iger and Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige, cost him his position. He was quoted saying, "I have no doubt that my termination was based on fundamental differences in the business between my thinking and Disney leadership because I care about return on investment," Perlmutter said. So right now we have an interview where I believe where he was not under a non-disclosure agreement. In other words, he's basically able to share all, or he may have a non-disclosure agreement, but there was certain details that he couldn't share. But I'm believing either way, he's speaking out. Okay, he's speaking out and wants to go ahead and put out there in the public what was possibly kept behind doors. All right, so it says here that Perlmutter, I have no doubt that my termination was based on fundamental differences in business between my thinking and Disney leadership because I care about return on investment. In other words, how much money you're going to get back that you put in after you put into it. Okay. And in recent years, we've actually seen Marvel Studios as well as Disney itself not focus on that, with the high spending. And Ike Pearlmutter here wanted to save money. I'll get into more details about that later. Another point of contention could be his association with Nuss and Peltz, who is called an activist investor who launched a proxy battle with Disney in 2022, as well as his assistants, and attempted to get Peltz on the board. All right, and it goes into detail saying that they talk about is box office. I care about the bottom line. I don't care about how big the box office is. Only people in Hollywood talk about box office, he continued. So, in other words, people who are like, this is another example of how, he doesn't care about the films that much. He cares about it, but not as much as the comic sales and stuff in the company itself. All right. During his firing, Perlmutter said Disney's general counsel Horatio Gutierrez told him his position was being terminated for cost-cutting reasons. But the thing is, Ike Pearlmutter doesn't remember that, as he says. In other words, Disney lied again. Disney lied again. He wasn't laid off. He was outright fired by Bob Iger. And he was just, and it's like, it shows that a lot of YouTubers, including Valiant Renegade, was right. Okay. So Gutierrez reportedly said his position was a part of Disney and Bob Iger's plan to cut some $5.5 billion and an estimated 7,000 jobs. As for rationale, the longtime Marvel employee said he was not given further explanation. He said he knows the true reason, however, which is it was merely a convenient excuse to get rid of a longtime executive who dared to challenge the company's way of doing business. So in other words, if you don't fit our narrative, if you decide to go against it, if you decide to not follow along or play ball, you're out of there. Okay, that's all it was. Even I've said that before. Okay. So it continues going on and saying that Perlmutter may have also been exiled for his connection to Nuss and Peltz, whose proxy battle ended in February when Iger announced cost-cutting measures. The former Marvel entertainment executive said he was not involved directly with Peltz's war against the company, but he assisted in lobbying the Disney board's members to add Peltz to the board itself. He went on and said that my experience with any major corporation when they're having problems and they don't have the free cash or whatever it is, usually people like Nuss and Peltz know how to put it back on track. In other words, he's better at saving money instead of splurging on things that didn't work. My experience with, I learned one thing about many creative people in my whole life. You cannot give them an open credit card. They're doing this for 30 years. Why would they change? He continues. So in other words, Disney has a lot of experience in wasting money on things and not bring back a big investment, okay, or return on investing, okay. And it's like they're spending, but they're not looking to save. And what they spend a lot of money on this kind of stuff, but they make little back. And that's a huge problem. That's how a company loses money, okay? They've already lost billions of dollars and everything. So now Bob Iger is forced to make some changes, all right? Not necessarily some of them are good changes, but he's making a lot of changes nevertheless. Now, one former Marvel Entertainment employee said, despite Perlmutter's penny pinching ways, his methods were effective. So, in other words, they let go of somebody who knew what he was doing, and some people may have found that to be irritating. But there are some people who don't believe that manner running business. But guess what? Morton Handel says that in his own experience, he never came across a more effective manager like Ike Pearlmutter. All right. So the article continues to go into detail, stating that Perlmutter told the Wall Street Journal he told the Republican governor Rob DeSantis of Florida that he believed that he was right about Disney staying out of politics. Where he said, "Ron, you're right. Disney doesn't have the right to get involved with politics." And then says, since Disney leaders spoke out, DeSantis has worked to strip the company of some of its power and influence the tax district the theme parks resided in. So basically, Perlmutter actually said, don't get involved in politics. You're going to get hurt. It's a no-win situation. Okay, he told that to other company heads. All right, and it says even after his demotion, Perlmutter said he was still privy to profit statements for Marvel Studios films until 2017. Okay, now he continued to ask for finance information throughout the years, most recently appealing to receive a statement on profits for Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, which premiered in May 2022. But the thing is, he stopped receiving, profit statements until like 2017 or possibly even 2021. Guess what happened around that time? Victoria Alonso was given a new head or new made-up head position at that time. It keeps unraveling, and it's crazy. Okay, so he maintains that spending for Marvel films was out of control, and that despite his best efforts, even under with former Disney CEO Bob Chapek, he was overlooked. Saying there was no way to force the issue because the creative people at Walt Disney Company are very powerful. So we see here not only what was happening behind the scenes with Ike Pearlmutter, but we also see that we see how Bob Chapek had his hands tied, that he couldn't do everything that the fans was hoping for him to do. All right, Ike Pearlmutter actually giving us insight and details about what was really going on, which proved a lot of people right. Okay, but it's really interesting because of the fact that whatever's hidden in darkness will definitely come into light. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Let me know what went wrong in the video. Also, if you have any additional thoughts to share in this video that I didn't cover, go ahead and provide it in comments below, and I always respond to comments. Okay, also be sure to, if you enjoy what I shared in the video, go ahead and smash the like button. Also share far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Until then, peace.